Hey, are you a business owner, entrepreneur, or professional? If so, we want you to apply to be a featured guest on our show. My name is Adam Torres, and I host the Mission Matters series of podcasts. I've recorded over 3,000 episodes, and we are just getting started. How do you know if you'd be a good guest to be on the show? Well, only one way to find out, and that's to apply, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We want guests that have a story to tell, guests with a brand, a product, or a service that can benefit my audience of listeners. If this sounds like you, go to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. I'd love to talk to you and get to know more about your story. Again, head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, now let's get into the show. Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Marketing Podcast, your source for all things marketing. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have JP Clement on the line. He's CEO over at Boomtime. JP, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
All right, JP, so I'm excited to get into today's topic. As we were talking pre-show, I'm like, I've done over 3,000 episodes, and I don't think I've done an episode quite like this. So word-of-mouth marketing for B2B. So I know I'm in for a treat, so I hope my audience is also, because I want to learn from you. But before we get into that, I just to provide some context, tell us a little bit more about the company, Boomtime, please.
Yeah, so Boomtime is about a 10-year-old company that's gone through several iterations and business models. But for the past 4 years, we've been focusing on word-of-mouth marketing, specifically for B2B businesses. We have developed our own platform that allows us to do a lot of word-of-mouth marketing, and we're having a lot of fun doing that with a great team. But I'm a little bit new to this as well. I joined Boomtime as CEO about 3 months ago, so I'm kind of learning as much as probably you will be learning too.
So, JP, at the end of this, I'm going to give you the opportunity to leave websites or social or wherever you want to send the audience that wants to learn more about Boomtime, but I want to make sure that the right businesses and individuals follow up. So what's typically a good fit in terms of client, whether it's industry, whether it's size of company? What's a good fit?
Yeah, so, we do especially well for businesses that are, I would say, in the 50 to 1,000 employees, so small to medium size, and that in industries such as, professional services. So think about accountant, legal firms, insurance brokers, things like that. We also have a lot of clients in the tech world, but tech that sells to businesses, as I mentioned. We do very well with companies that have relatively small or to medium-sized addressable market. So the number of potential customers that exist out there for these companies, and that would range from the low thousand to the dozens of thousands. That's really our sweet spot and where we can really do the best job possible for our clients. And in terms of revenue, we're looking at companies between, I'd say, $2.5 million to $50 million in sales. The other important thing is that we do better with companies that have whose customers have a large lifetime value, so LTV in our marketing jargon, which is how much a typical customer would bring in terms of revenue for a company over the life cycle of their engagement with the company.
Fantastic. And I think that's a great transition. So let's just dive further into today's topic. So word of mouth marketing for B2B. Maybe start off with kind of defining what word of mouth marketing means for Boomtime, because I've heard different slants on it. I have one understanding. Maybe there's something completely different that I don't know.
Yeah. So we do all kinds of digital marketing, to be honest about this, but we really focus on word of mouth marketing because that, especially for B2B businesses and the type of businesses that I described, that's really the most efficient, highest ROI, and most impactful type of marketing that companies can do. So word of mouth marketing is, it's a little bit of a grab bag of different techniques and tactics in marketing, but really it's all about creating awareness about your business. It's about creating content so that your business can be seen as a thought leader, an expert, really kind of an opinion leader in whatever that business does, and then in sales terms, fill the top of the funnel. So making sure that the awareness is there, and then that we build some kind of authority around those businesses.
So what do you find, and I know just based on the quantity of clients and what boomtime does, and I know this isn't going to be the same for everybody, right? So I know depending on the size of the business, depending on the industry, a lot of things. But what do you find are some of the common themes of like errors or flaws or opportunity areas, however we want to word it, right? That you see that businesses are doing over and over, and sometimes when that client comes in the door, you're like, oh, we're going to knock this out of the park for them. This is exciting. Like, what are some of those common themes?
Some of the common themes, and I've tried across my career many times. I've over 30 years of experience in marketing. I've helped all kinds of businesses and all kinds of sizes, and at boomtime we see that a lot as well. I think there are two major issues that these businesses encounter, and that represent huge challenges for them that we can very easily solve at boomtime. So one of them is the lack of a strategy and understanding how digital marketing and word of mouth marketing fits into their strategy. And so a lot of people, may have heard, Facebook works, right? Or Google Ads work, or, PR works in some cases, or whatever. And they might, not necessarily understand exactly why these things work and whether they would work for their business, and even more so, based on the strategy and what they want to achieve, whether those things would work. So what we do a lot of is educational. We educate our clients and prospective clients about what the various parts of the digital marketing and word of mouth marketing that we do, how that helps them, and how that can help them meet their challenges, meet their objectives. And so that's one of the key things is this lack of understanding of how digital marketing fits into your strategy. The second, I think, big challenge that we see, and that's one of my pet peeves and one thing I've done across my career that I'm very, very passionate about, and that boomtime does very well, is not setting any measurable goals and understanding the analytics and the KPIs behind, looking at your marketing campaigns. We're lucky in digital marketing that, there's all kinds of ways to generate some analytics and measure things. And so, but a lot of our clients don't have no idea about what the KPIs, the key performance indices are, and what metrics matter, and what they should be looking at. And when they do have that, sometimes they don't even know how to look at those things. So, that's something that we can really help with, and but also something that's very, very critical. And that, if you don't set goals and look at the analytics for a campaign, you have no idea whether that campaign is working or not. So we always tell them, if you cannot measure it, you cannot manage it. So we spend a lot of time doing that and helping our clients with understanding what metrics matter and how to take a look at those metrics. And then the third thing, I think, is it's probably a more subtle one. It's something that's a little bit difficult to get across sometimes. But a lot of people think about marketing as this very creative endeavor, and where there's all kinds of things that you can do, and there is also a huge amount of marketing tactics and tools out there that can help you do digital marketing. But what I've learned throughout my career is that marketing is, it's something that has to be very disciplined. And so we've seen a lot of companies that we worked with that take a very undisciplined approach to marketing, and that results in a lot of problems and very inefficient campaigns. So we've built what we call the discipline engine in our company that allows us to automate a lot of things, but also to make sure that we don't leave any stone unturned, and that we take the right steps in our processes to make sure that our marketing campaigns are the best as they can be.
No, that's awesome, and that's helpful. And can you, I want to, there's one thing that you said there, and I'm guilty, so I guess I'm saying it so that you can, we're a media company, so I'm bringing it up just as a reminder of myself, so next time I'm messing up or I'm managing incorrectly. Let's talk a little bit more about discipline on marketing campaigns. I just want you to comment on that, because as we're speaking, you just reminded me of something. I'm like, our calendar for another thing we're doing. I'm like, and for our clients, right, we do it because it's what it has to all be done, right? There's a process, everything else. But sometimes on our company side, and everybody's listening is going to laugh, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, that post went out a day late, and our calendar wasn't ready on that, and this and that, like all these things that might be a little bit more complicated than some of the people listening. But tell us a little bit more about the importance of discipline in your overall marketing strategy. Obviously, if you're working with an agency, that's part of what you're paying them for, to make sure you're on there. But if you're out there doing it on yourself, you still need discipline. So can you just comment on discipline in your career, your 30-year career, like the difference between having it and not?
Yes, definitely. So yeah, that's something that's a subject that's kind of dear to me as well, as you can probably tell. But marketing is part, to me at least, and I think a lot of people would agree, it's part science and part art. And the science part is where I think all that discipline comes into play. And so discipline to me, can be seen in many different ways, but one of them is, you have to look at your analytics. You have to set goals. You have to monitor campaigns. You have to take the time to look at the numbers and try to figure out stories within those numbers. But there also are, basic steps that need to be taken in marketing campaigns that, you can skip basically, and you have to get to and some of them are not, necessarily very creative or very fun, but they have to be done correctly, and they have to be done at the right time to ensure that your campaign is going to be successful. So you mentioned it, calendars, right? For content campaigns, you need to have a calendar. For email campaigns, you need to, to make sure that you're sending it at the right time. You have a consistency that you cross your T's and dot your I's and make sure that all the links in your emails are correct, that it's going to the right segments. So there is like a lot of little steps like this that add up very rapidly, and that you have to be very, very diligent in terms of implementing them at the right time in the right manner. So it's really a laundry list almost, or a checklist of those different things that you have, that have been proven to work in general in marketing, but also for specific campaigns and specific industries are proven to have worked before, but and things that you can skip, right? There are critical steps in the process. And so it's obviously discipline has a lot to do with processes. And at Boomtime, we spend a lot of time refining our processes. And we, as you mentioned, when I do marketing, we do our own marketing for Boomtime. So we treat Boomtime within our own company as a client. So I have account managers in my company that deal with me as their client, and that's how we do our marketing. So we use that discipline and that planning and those processes for ourselves first, and then we turn around and implement that with our clients when they know that they work and that make our campaign the best that they can be.
Man, I love it. It's awesome, and I love that you said that too, because sometimes people they're like, especially when they're, and I'm biased because I like marketing, I like supporting marketing people. I don't care. I'm biased in this one, but when somebody says they're going to do their own or they're going to do this and that, I'm like, do you have the time, or do you have the discipline? Do you have the I ask a couple questions and you kind of know immediately, real quick. It's like, you might be in this effort for a month or two, maybe 3, but 2 years possibly this ain't going to be the best. So you you might want to just hire somebody now. So that's my bias. I'll throw it out there. So that being said, JP, we're about out of time on this one. If somebody is listening to this and they do want to learn more about Boomtime or connecting with you and your team to see what kind of things you offer to keep the conversation going, or even just to connect with the content you guys put out, I mean, what's the best way for them to engage?
Yeah, so the best way is probably to go to our website, which is being redesigned, but the current one is still very, very good. It's boomtime.com, so boomtime.com. And then you can find us also on LinkedIn, of course, at Boomtime. Do quick search for Boomtime on LinkedIn, and you'll find us. I'm on LinkedIn as well under JP Clement, so linkedin.com/in/JP Clement. So we also have our own podcast, by the way. We're redoing that a little bit too, but if you go to our website, we have a ton of blog posts, of articles, of white papers, case studies, podcasts. And actually, we're about to publish a book of our that collects all the things that we've been writing for years. That's going to end. Right now, we're at about 175 pages of marketing tips and digital marketing, blog posts. So we'll publish that probably pretty soon in digital form, of course. That's to come. But boomtime.com. That's the best way to find us.
Fantastic. Well, JP, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about your background and all the great work that you're doing over at Boomtime. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store, and if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Marketing, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave us some comments on the video. Love to know what kind of projects and things you're working on. I want to keep the conversation going over in the YouTube community. And JP, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.